Good evening and welcome inside Scotiabank Center, everyone, located in downtown Halifax, Nova Scotia, for Halifax Hurricanes basketball. The St. John Riptide come in for the second matchup of the season between these two teams. I'm Vince Williams, and thank you for joining us wherever you may be. The Riptide come in tonight's game with a sparkling 6-3 road record atop of the Atlantic Division. The Canes, on the other hand, able to get an impressive win on the road versus the Island Storm. So they return home tonight to take on the Riptide. Both of these teams at the top of the Atlantic Division and looking to stay that way this evening. Let's take a quick look at the starting lineups for both teams. For the Riptide, number 1, Brian Addison. Number 4, Horace Wormley. Number 23, Jeremiah Morty. Number 25, Gabe Freeman, and rounding out the lineup, number 33, Malcolm Miller. For the Halifax Hurricanes, number 1, Tyrone Watson. Number 12, Cliff Clinkscales. Number 14, Antoine Mason. Number 20, CJ Washington. And the big man in the middle, number 23, Billy White. Clinkscales tonight getting his award for 1,000 assists on a stellar career, and that continues on for the Halifax Hurricanes. Great to see the captain being recognized this evening. So Addison, Washington with the tip, and the Riptide control the tap. Morty. He's got a good look. He puts it up. Shot is short at the rim, and that's rebounded by Washington. Clinkscales now. Watson, dribble drive. Kick to White. White back out to Mason. Back inside the Billy's got to hurry. Mason puts it up for 3. The shot's no good. And the rebound's picked up by Addison. Wormley now. Kick out. Freeman for 3. And Freeman knocks down the triple. So the Riptide get on the board first. Freeman with his first attempt from downtown, and he knocks it down. A good look from beyond the arc. It's early here in the first quarter. Riptide up 3-0. Clinkscales. Washington, he'll put it up for 3. Off the backboard, it's no good. Rebound by Freeman. Riptide come back the other way. Wormley, pick and roll. Wormley, dribble to the net, and a nice finish with the right hand off the left side by Wormley. Horace Wormley, his first 2 of the evening, and it's 5-0 now for the Riptide. Shot clock under 10, and some contact between Addison and Washington. And Addison will be called for the foul. It's his first, team's first. And a stoppage in play here, trying to correct the score, that is. Good crowd on hand here at Scotiabank Center, and the second matchup between these two teams. Inbound on the baseline by Clinkscales. 14 on the shot. 10-17 on the game. Mason, kick out to Watson. Watson, his jumper's no good, and Washington had great space there, and it looks like he got pushed from behind by Addison, so that's 2 quick fouls called on Addison. And that's his second, team's second, so decision time right now for head coach Nelson Taroba. As you can see in the replay there, great positioning on the block out by Washington as Addison had to go through him over the back. Mason, he'll put it up for 3. A good look, in and out. Rebound by Freeman. Freeman now trying to back down Watson. Kicks it out to Morty. He thought about it. Addison, he'll put up the jumper. That shot's short, and rebound by Mason. Watson, kick out to Mason, back inside to Watson. closely guarded by Miller. Shot clock under 10. Clinkscale's calling for the screen. Kicks it out to Watson, he puts it up. And that rims in and out. And there's a rebound by Morty. So another one and done for the Hurricanes. Riptide doing a good job of limiting second chance opportunities. Morty, pull up. It's no good, rebound by Wormley. No look pass to Addison, and Addison makes no mistake with the right hand. So a good look there by Wormley on that second chance opportunity. And it's 7-0. 7-0 run early here in the first quarter by the Riptide. Watson's shot is rejected by Miller, but his last touch by Miller, it will remain Hurricanes possession. 11 seconds on the shot clock, 8:50 remaining on the game clock in the first quarter. Hurricanes still looking for their first basket of the game. Clinkscale finally gets it in. Mason trying to go to work, gives it to Watson, drives right. Billy puts it up, right side, second chance is there. So finally the Hurricanes break up the 7-0 run by the Riptide. Billy gets his first two on the putback. Addison, Wormley, pick and roll. Shot clock under 10, and Freeman fires up an errant shot, try to beat the shot clock. That was a tough shot. Washington back the other way, and he converts. A steal by Mason to Billy, and he gets the foul on Freeman, and Billy will go to the line to shoot two. So great defensive play there by Mason, stepping in front of that pass, that inbound. Good run out in transition as Washington finishes at the rim. Clinkscale with the pass in transition, and Washington picks up his first. So a timeout on the floor called by the Riptide as head coach Nelson Taroba wants to talk things over after going up 7-0. The Riptide's lead is cut to 3. Both teams thus far in the first early goings of this first quarter, the Riptide shooting 43% from the field. Hurricanes struggling a little bit at 22%. Riptide 1 of 2 from downtown. Canes 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. So leading the way, the leading scores thus far. Gabe Freeman's got 3. And Washington and White has 2. So Canes struggle a little bit in the early going of this game. Riptide got off to a 7-0 start before Billy White broke up that run with the putback. Washington's last run out in transition cut the lead to 3. And Mason stepped in front of that errant pass to force a timeout call by the Riptide. Second matchup between these two teams. Riptide come into tonight's game atop of the Atlantic Division with an 11-7 mark, and they are 6-3 on the road. Hurricanes, on the other hand, second place with a 12-8 record. 2 other games going on this evening around the National Basketball League of Canada. The out-of-town scoreboard will get you caught up in the next timeout. The KW Titans visit the Cape Breton Highlanders, and the Windsor Express visit the London Lightning. So Billy White will go to the line to shoot 2. As Billy is a 68% free throw shooter on the season, averaging 18 points a game. Billy knocks down the first. 6'8" power forward from San Diego State by way of Las Vegas, Nevada. And Billy knocks down both, so Billy's got 2. 2 from the free throw line and 2 from the field. He's got 4 for the Hurricanes, and it's a 1-point lead for the Riptide. Freeman high off the glass and in, as he was able to get it up and over White. Nice pass there by Marique Isom, who's just checked into the game for the first time for the Riptide. Mason for three, and he knocks it down. Antoine Mason, 1 for 2 now for downtown. That's his first points of the evening. Mason comes into this game averaging 19 points per game, and that's atop the leader for the Hurricanes. Turnover by the Riptide. Canes got numbers in transition. Good defensive recovery by the Riptide. Canes got to get into their half-court set. Clinkscales, left hand, off the glass, it's too strong, and it's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Hurricanes. So a missed opportunity in transition, but great defensive recovery, though, by the Riptide, as they didn't give up that easy opportunity. We are all tied up here. 9 points apiece. Isom now. Swings it to Wormley. Wormley looking for a screen from Freeman. He gets it. Isom dribble hand off to Miller. Shot clock under 10. Miller's got to hurry. Behind the pass, back pass to Isom, and Watson will be called for the reach. That's Watson's first, team's first. 6:40 left in the first quarter. We are all square at 9 apiece. Miller now, inside to Freeman. That's a matchup to watch tonight. Freeman and Watson, as the fadeaway's no good by Freeman. So a good closeout and hand up by Watson in that defensive set. Billy will put it up for three, and he drains it. Billy knocking down the three ball. You don't usually see Billy knock down that shot. Doesn't usually take it, but he caught it in rhythm and he was able to knock it down. So a 3-point lead by the Hurricanes. Their first lead now. Canes on a 12-2 run. Wormley, he turns it over. Washington picks it up. Clinkscales in transition. Canes got numbers. Clinkscales left hand, and he draws the foul, and he'll go to the line and shoot two. So a good decision in transition by the captain, as they had numbers off of that turnover. Jeremiah Morton's first, team's fourth, as Aaron Redpath will check in for the first time for the Riptide. And Morty will go to the bench. Clinkscales knocks down the first. He's 70% on the season from the free throw line. Averaging 7 points per game is the captain. And he knocks down both. Clinkscales picks up his first two of the evening, and the lead's to 5 now. Isom to Wormley, gets the screen by Isom. Freeman dribble hand off the Redpath. Shot clock way under 10. Wormley's got to hurry. Behind the pass to Isom. Isom puts it up for three. Too strong, and that's rebound by Watson. Mason, he gets a look from downtown, and he drains it. Mason, 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. Antoine's got 6. So a good look in transition by the Hurricanes, as Mason makes no mistake and knocks down the three ball. Wormley now. Freeman, he picks the foul up, and that's called on Watson, but the Canes on a 17-2 run after trailing 7-0. They definitely righted the ship here, as you can see in the replay. Little contact there on the baseline by Watson. Tonight's officials, as Freeman misses the first, Justin Roche, along with Alonzo Wright and the crew chief, ball to Bailey. So Freeman at the line. He knocks down one of two. And that breaks up that 17-2 run. It's a 17-3 run now, but the Hurricanes getting it done offensively. Riptide looking for a stop. Clinkscales, he'll put it up for three, and he drains it. Clinkscales knocks down the three ball on rhythm, and Clink's got 5. Canes doing an outstanding job after that, coming out of that timeout, knocking down the three ball. Isom tries his hand at three. That's no good. 10-point lead for the Hurricanes, their largest thus far. Washington inside on Isom. And it looks like Isom is called for the reach. That's Isom's first. Team's 5th. 4:27 left in the first quarter. Hurricanes on a major run now. A 20-3 run to be exact after trailing 7-0. Washington draws a double team. Clinkscales catches in rhythm. He puts it up and knocks down back-to-back threes. Clinkscales, he's got 8. And that's one above his season average. The captain knocking it down from beyond the arc, and it's a 13-point lead for the Hurricanes. Wormley, and one, and that will count, as Wormley was able to get to the basket and draw the foul on Clinkscales. And he'll go to the line to complete the three-point play. As Mike Poole will check in for the first time for the Canes. As you can see in the replay there, as Clink's got him with the arm, and Wormley able to fight through the contact and finish at the rim with the right hand. Watson will go to the bench for the Canes. As Wormley can't complete the three-point play. However, the putback is there for Gabe Freeman. So what it looked like a 3-point trip turns into a 4-point trip for the Riptide. It's 23-14 now. Mason. Left hand, that's knocked away by Freeman. Freeman races back the other way with Wormley. Clinkscales, though, closes out on Wormley, but Wormley blows by Clink on the baseline and finishes with the reversal. Wormley, with the quick move on the baseline, was able to leave Clinkscales and finish with the reversal. No help on the help line by the Hurricanes. Now the Riptide answering offensively. Poole, his pass is knocked away, and a tie-up between Wormley and White. Looks like possession arrow will favor the Hurricanes as Ronaldo Dixon checks in for the first time along with Taquan Zimmerman. 7-point lead for the Hurricanes, 3:07 remaining in the first quarter. Zimmerman with the inbound to Dixon. He thought about it. Drives right, loses the handle. It's picked up by Miller. Miller, he's double teamed. Does a good job to fight through it, but he turns it over. Zimmerman to Mason, and he's trying to knock down another three. Draws the contact, no foul. And the rebound's picked up by Redpath. Freeman now, he puts it up for three. That's in and out, rebound by Mason. Mason looking for a screen from Washington. Ronaldo Dixon. Dixon puts it up for three and he knocks it down. So Ronaldo didn't like the first attempt on the previous trip down, but he liked the second as he knocks down the shot from beyond the arc, and that's the first points of the evening for Ronaldo Dixon. Back up to a 10-point lead for the Hurricanes. Miller, right hand, he finishes at the rim over Poole. And that's Miller's first two on the evening. Mason, closely guarded by Redpath. He turns it over. Redpath gets the steal. Back the other way. And Redpath loses the handle. Ronaldo's with the steal. Mason drives right, and he is fouled on his way to the rim. And that's called on Redpath, and Mason will go to the line to shoot 2. Mason off to the races here. As you can see, it's a reach called by Redpath, catches him on the left hand. And Mason will go to the line for the first time this evening. Antoine misses the first. Comes into this game shooting 73% from the free throw line. And he misses both. So an empty trip there for the Hurricanes to extend the lead. Riptide will come back the other way. Isom now to Wormley. Lots of contact away from the ball. And it looks like a push will be called on Antoine Mason. There's a collision between him and Isom. And that's Mason's first, team's fourth. 1:27 remaining in the first quarter. Hurricanes by 8. Redpath will inbound the basketball with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Wormley now, off the screen. Wormley puts it up for 3, a good look, and he drains it. Horace Wormley knocks down his first 3 ball of the evening, had a good look from beyond the arc off of that pick and roll. To a 5-point lead now. Pull, blow by, right hand, it's no good, it's rebound by Isom. Wormley now in transition, Wormley. Nice pipe pass in tight, and that shot's rejected by White. A discussion about who touched it last, and it looks like it was off of Freeman. He's in full disagreement there, as Jeremiah Morty will check in, and Horace Wormley will go to the bench for the Riptide. 50.5 seconds left in the first quarter. As Remal Brown checks in for the first time, as White will go to the bench. 5-point lead, Taquan Zimmerman with the ball. Dixon to Poole for 3. And he knocks down another 3. So the Hurricanes shooting the lights out in the first 12 minutes from beyond the arc. After struggling in the early going 0 for 3, they have rebounded in that percentage. Morty now. Isom. He loses the handle. Brown now. Canes have numbers in transition. Dixon thought about it. Poole. Dribble drive, and he finishes at the rim with the right hand off the left side. So good decision by Brown and Dixon. And Zimmerman will be called for the reach on Redpath. It's a good foul by Zimmerman. So we still have a few more fouls to give before they are in the penalty, but 2.8 seconds left here in the first quarter remaining. 10-point lead by the Hurricanes. Redpath, he puts it up for 3. I got a good look, and he makes no mistake knocking it down. So a defensive mistake, a letdown at the end of the quarter by the Hurricanes, gives Aaron Redpath a wide open 3. And he knocks that down and cuts the lead to 7. So after 12 minutes, the Hurricanes lead 31-24. Canes shot the lights out down the stretch of this first quarter from beyond the arc. They finished the quarter 7 for 11 from downtown, and that's at a 64% rate after they struggled going 0 for 3 in that early going. Riptide, on the other hand, were 3 of 7 from downtown, shooting 52% from the field, compared to 50% by the Hurricanes. The leaders in scoring, Wormley leads the way for the Riptide with 9. He's 4 for 4 from the field, 1 for 1 from beyond the arc. For the Hurricanes, Clint Scales, he leads the way with 8. He's 2 for 3 from the field. He's 2 for 2 from downtown. So after trailing 7-0, the Hurricanes went on a run of 20-3 before the Riptide answered. But it was quite the run there offensively for the Hurricanes, but it all started on the defensive end. A few turnovers, 6 to be exact, by the Riptide in that quarter, allowed them to make their run and mount their run after going down 7-0. But the Riptide answered late in that first 12 minutes as Aaron Redpath was able to knock down the 3-ball with 2.8 seconds left. And we're here with the 7-point lead by the Hurricanes. So just about ready to start the second quarter. Hurricanes Riptide here at Scotiabank Center. Vince Williams with the call courtside, and thank you for joining us wherever you may be for this matchup between these two teams atop of the Atlantic Division. As there's 2 other games going on around the National Basketball League of Canada this evening. KW Titans visit the Cape Breton Highlanders, and the Windsor Express visit the London Lightning. So the Riptide with control of the basketball to start the second quarter. Miller's three's too strong, and that's picked up by Brown. Brown, Mason, Dixon, Zimmerman, and Poole will start the quarter for the Canes. Ronaldo. Shot clock under 10. Poole's got to hurry. He puts it up for 3. Shot's too strong, and that rebounds by Morty. Riptide counter with Redpath, Isom, Morty, Miller, and Addison. Miller off the screen. He's got to hurry. Shot clock under 10. Right hand, too strong at the rim, and the putback, no good. But a foul on the call. And that's on Addison, so Addison picks up his 3rd. So Brian Addison struggling here. He's picked up 3 quick fouls in limited minutes. And that's not the start Brian Addison envisioned coming in tonight's matchup. As he's got to go to the bench, and you got to think that he's probably going to remain there for the remainder of this second quarter. Probably won't see Addison until the 3rd. Dixon trying to back down Isom. Draws the double team, and that's rejected. Kicked back out though. Pull up. Poole short at the rim, and that's rebound by Miller. So a second chance opportunity there off of that blocked shot, and tight. And that's knocked out of bounds by Brown, and it will remain Riptide possession. 17 seconds on the shot clock. 10:34 remaining in the second quarter. Canes by 7. Redpath to Isom. Knocked away momentarily. Morty now in tight, and that shot's rejected by Poole. Mason back the other way. Right hand, and he is fouled at the rim. It looks like it was Isom from behind, but an outstanding defensive play on the other end by Mike Poole. Take a look here in transition, the foul called on. It looks like it was picked up on Redpath, not on Isom, so a correction on that foul. As Redpath picks up his second, team second. And Mason will go to the free throw line for the second time, and he hits the first. Mason sporting some New York Yankee socks tonight. He definitely has a plethora of different style of socks, and he gets his second chance. He misses that, and he scoops up. And he beats the defense there. No block out on Mason. Turns a 2-point trip into a 3-point trip, Mason does. Isom now. Kicked out to Morty. Gets the screen. And a foul called on Brown as Brown tried to guard Morty in space. That's a tough defensive matchup for Brown. trying to guard the quicker Morty. As Clinkscales will come back for the Canes, along with Warmley, and Freeman will check in for the Riptide. Canes up 10 here. Morty, nice pump fake and finish at the rim as he was able to get Poole in the air. So a good take by Jeremiah. Cuts the lead to 8. Ronaldo, baseline, reversal's good. Ronaldo Dixon with the quick move. First step on the baseline and makes no mistake with the reversal. Warmley, though, comes right back with the left hand. Horace Warmley not afraid to get in there amongst the trees. Jump shot from 3 is no good by Zimmerman, but looks like his last touch by Morty, and it will remain Hurricanes possession. As Darren Mency will check in for the first time for the Riptide, as Aaron Redpath will go to the bench. Poole inbound on the baseline for the Canes. Fresh shot clock here, 9:19 remaining in the second quarter. Canes by 8. Zimmerman kicked out to Brown for 3. Brown's shot short at the rim. That rebound's picked up by Morty, but he loses it and turns it over. And Mike Poole with the beautiful feed in tight to Brown, and Brown makes no mistake with the right hand. So a missed opportunity for the Riptide there as Jeremiah Morty turned it over after getting the rebound. Just couldn't control that rebound. And it's back up to 10 for the Canes. Morty now off the screen, right hand, short at the rim, wanted the contact but didn't get it. Poole back the other way, he gets the contact and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. So head coach Nelson Taroba not happy about what transpired on the other end offensively for Morty, thought that he got fouled. As he has a brief discussion with the crew chief, Paul DeBailey. As the foul's called on Morty, that's his second, team's third. As Poole knocks down his first free throw, his first trip to the line this evening. And Poole comes into this game shooting 73% from free throw line, and he makes both. So Poole knocks down both free throws on that trip. Leads to 12 now. Mency off the screen. Shot clock under 10, has got to hurry. Morty in tight, and that's a shot clock violation. So good defensive stand there in that trip by the Hurricanes. Didn't give up the easy deuce as they played the pick and roll to perfection. That forces a timeout call by the Riptide. As head coach Nelson Taroba wants to talk it over. Not happy with what has transpired in the last few minutes here. His team trails by 12. So we're going to take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and that's brought to you by Lindsay Construction. So the KW Titans visiting the Cape Breton Highlanders. They are trailing the Highlanders in the second quarter with 9:51 left, 39-26. And we still are waiting on the opening tap between the Windsor Express and the London Lightning, as that's a 7 p.m. start in the Eastern time zone. So we're about 16 minutes away from the opening tap at Budweiser Gardens between the Windsor Express and the London Lightning. Great crowd on hand tonight here at the Scotiabank Center between these two teams. There's plenty of tickets available throughout the season for the Hurricanes. If you are in town, don't be a stranger. Stop on down to the Scotiabank Center for Hurricanes basketball. It's definitely family-friendly atmosphere. If you want to follow the Hurricanes on their many social media outlets, there's a many of ways of doing so. Their website, HalifaxHurricanes.ca. their Instagram and Twitter handle, one of the same, HFX Hurricanes. So, coming out of the timeout, called by the Riptide, trying to break up the momentum after that shot clock violation, forces that timeout to make some adjustments here. Hurricanes with possession. 12-point lead, Clinkscales crosses the timeline. Kicks it to Zimmerman, he puts it up for three, he misses everything. And Zimmerman's 0 for 2 now from downtown. Morty, he'll put up the three ball, that's no good, too strong off the backboard, rebound by Zimmerman. Zimmerman in tight to Brown. Brown loses the handle. And Morty will race back the other way for the Riptide. In tight, a nice zip pass there by Freeman. Outstanding assist by Freeman. Unselfish basketball by Gabe as he was able to zip that one in through a sea of hands. As Isom will check back into the game for the Riptide. Canes still up by 10, double-digit lead. 7:30 remaining here in the second quarter. Poole now. Jumper short at the rim. That's picked up by Brown. Second chance opportunity coming up. Poole draws the double team. In tight to Brown. Back out the Poole. Swings it to Clinkscales. Inside to Dixon. Left hand, and that's a beautiful spin move. And left hand finish by Ronaldo Dixon. Dixon getting his opportunity tonight. And he is putting up some good minutes for head coach Mike Leslie off the bench. Back up to 12 now is the lead for the Canes. Isom swings it to Wormley. Gets the screen from Freeman. Wormley gets to the rim and he draws the contact and it looks like it's on Dixon. As Horace Wormley will go to the line to shoot two. Ronaldo's first, team second in the quarter. Wormley comes into tonight's game 85% from the free throw line and he knocks down the first. As Poole steps into the lane there. It's the second opportunity coming up for Wormley. And he goes 2 for 2 on this trip. Ten-point lead for the Hurricanes. 10:35 remaining in the second quarter. Zimmerman swings it to Clinkscales. To Poole, inside the Brown. Clinkscales puts it up for three, and he knocks it down right between the eyes of Horace Wormley. I mean, Wormley's close all the way out, but Clinkscales in rhythm knocks it down from beyond the arc. And that's Clinkscales' second three on the evening. Isom, he'll try his hand from downtown, and that's in and out. Rebound by Poole. Clinkscales now. Brown. Poole from downtown, no good. And Wormley will come back the other way for the Riptide. Mency, he'll put it up for three. That's too strong. Rebound by Dixon. Ronaldo thought about it. He puts it up and he drains it. Man, I tell you, they are absolutely lighting up the mesh from beyond the arc are the Hurricanes. They got the three ball going. This is definitely the most impressive shooting from beyond the arc thus far by the Hurricanes here at home. As a stoppage in play here as Antoine Mason looking to check in. He's granted entry. 16-point lead for the Hurricanes. It's their largest. And a foul away from the ball, and it looks like a moving screen, a push-off, and that's called on Darren Mency. That's Mency's first, team's fourth. 5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. 16-point lead, it's their largest for the Hurricanes. After they trailed by 7 and went on a 20-3 run, it's been all Canes ever since. Mason swings it to Zimmerman. Shot clock under 10. He's got to hurry. Mason puts it up for 3, and that's a tough 3 ball. No good. Wormley with the rebound. Mency in tight to Freeman. Freeman trying to go one-on-one against Brown. Fadeaway jumper's no good. So good defensive play there by Brown, closing out on a tough defensive assignment, trying to guard Freeman. That alley-oop attempt's knocked away by Wormley. Wormley stumbles out of bounds and he turns it over. So after a good defensive play by Horse, is unable to gather himself. He turns it over as Freeman will go to the bench as Jeremiah Morty checks in. Along with Darren Mency will check out for the Canes. For the Riptide. Checking in, though, for the Canes is C.J. Washington. Ramal Brown goes to the bench. Clinkscales, thought about it. Mason now, back to Clinkscales. In tight to Washington. Washington on the baseline. Zimmerman draws the contact, so good cut and movement away from the basketball. Without the basketball is Zimmerman. And a technical foul called on the Riptide bench. As Justin Roche had enough of maybe the extracurricular language coming from the Riptide bench. Probably unsavory language because they're not happy at this point at some of the calls being made. Zimmerman knocks down both. And now he'll shoot the technical. And Zimmerman goes 3 for 3 from the charity stripe. So things really starting to come undone here for the Riptide. But this team is battle-tested and proven. They are 6-3 on the road, so they know how to get it done. They are in tough right now, trailing by 19. It's the largest on the evening for the Hurricanes. Canes looking for more. And they get it with the one-handed flush on the baseline to Washington. Outstanding assist there by Zimmerman. Unselfish basketball. And it's 21 now. And a foul call on Mason. As you can see in the replay, great play there by Zimmerman. Unselfish basketball as he was able to freeze the defense and hit a cutting Washington, and Washington made no mistake with the emphatic dunk at the rim. Miller, right hand's no good, but the putback is there, and Miller goes down like a ton of bricks, and he's holding the back of his head. As we have a stoppage in play here, let's hope that Miller's okay. But he's continuing to remain down on the floor and in some discomfort. And he's back up on his feet, and he has a few choice words directed at the crew chief, Paul DeBailey. So 3:08 left remaining in this second quarter. Hurricanes by 19. Third largest, 21. Clinkscales. CJ. Jumper, that's short. And a battle underneath the basket between Miller and McDonald, who is checked in for the first time for the Hurricanes. So 2:49 left in the second quarter. Fresh shot clock here for the Hurricanes. Zimmerman with the fadeaway. That's short at the rim, and it's rebounded by Miller. Miller looking for the screen with the left hand, attacking the rim, and it looks like Washington will be called for the reach. That's CJ's first, team's fourth. As Mike Poole checks back in for the Hurricanes. And Mason will go to the bench. Isom, jumper, too strong, rebound by Zimmerman. Clinkscales, good look from beyond the arc, and Klink knocks it down, and that's his third. Klink is catching it in rhythm and knocking it down. The closeout came late by Wormley, but it doesn't matter. Klink has definitely got it locked in from beyond the arc. Isom with a good look from downtown, and he makes no mistake knocking it down. So Isom knocking down his first three ball. A good look in that half-court set. Canes still with a large lead. Dribble handoff to Zimmerman. Clinkscale swings at the Pool inside the Washington. Washington, he draws the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot two. And Dondo picked up his second foul. He's into an extensive conversation on the baseline. As you can see in the replay there, the contact drawn by Washington as Dondo picks up his second. Team six. As Washington hits his first. CJ, a 74% free throw shooter on the season, averaging 16 points. And he knocks down the second, the Alabama at Birmingham product. Wormley now, right hand, in tight. He draws the foul. Probably hoped that the play would have ensued as he hit Dondo. Back door. Denny McDonald's called for his first foul. Team Smith. 1:28 left in the second quarter. 18 on the shot clock as Horace Wormley will inbound on the baseline. Miller draws the double team. Miller still going to work here. Spin move, Dondo right hand, and he finishes at the rim. .38-39 now. Clinkscales. The Zimmerman back to Clinkscales. Shot clock under 10. Klink's got to hurry. Left hand, no good. Second chance though, kicked out the Pool. Swings it to Zimmerman. He tries his hand from downtown. It's short. Clinkscales, and he finishes with the left hand. So three opportunities there as Mike Poole is able to find Clinkscales underneath the basket all alone, and that's 60 points in the first 24 minutes for the Hurricanes. Miller for three, rejected by Poole. Poole's off to the races to Washington, and he finishes with the right hand. Another block shot from Mike Poole, his second, The Canes got out in the open floor on a 2-on-1, and Washington finishes at the rim with the right hand. So a very strong finish here, and then looking to finish strong at the end of this quarter are the Canes. There's a foul call, and that's on Clinkscales, his second, team 6. So a good foul as Wormley was able to make his way towards the rim with the right hand, and it looked like he had an easy opportunity at the goal. 1.8 seconds left. Canes trying to finish out this quarter strong. Miller with the fadeaway, and that's a tough shot forced by Poole, and that'll do it. 24 minutes in the books. Hurricanes with a huge lead going into the halftime break, 62-39. All on the strength of some outstanding defensive play and some timely shooting from beyond the arc. So we're going to step aside for the halftime break, but stay with us. You are watching Halifax Hurricanes basketball on the Halifax Hurricanes YouTube channel. Welcome back inside Scotiabank Center in beautiful downtown Halifax for Halifax Hurricanes basketball. Vince Williams here courtside for the Hurricanes and the Riptide. It's the second matchup of the season between these two teams atop of the Atlantic Division. The Riptide come in tonight's game at 11-7, first in the Atlantic Division. The Hurricanes 12-8. But the first 24 minutes of this game has definitely been all Hurricanes after a very slow start where they trailed 7-0 and then went on a 20-3 run and finish out the second quarter leading 62-39. They outscored the Riptide 31-15 in that second quarter. 13 points off of 9 Riptide turnovers, and the bench scoring has been part of the storyline as well. Hurricanes with 24 bench points compared to 12 from the Riptide. So thank you wherever you may be for joining us here for this matchup between these two stellar teams. The Hurricanes will have control of the basketball to start the third as Clint Scales led all scorers in the first 24 minutes with 14 points. He was 4 for 4 from downtown. Clint Scales now, left hand, finish, teardrop. 16 now for the captain. And the Canes picked right up where they left off as they were strong in the first 24 minutes, 44% from field goal range. They shot 33% from downtown, and that's a turnover. Turnover number 10 for the Riptide, and that's not good. Excuse me, that's 47.6% from downtown are the Hurricanes. They shot 46% from the field goal range. And a foul call away from the basketball as Jeremiah Morty is called for the personal. Seeing the replay here, Clint Scales with the hesitation, help coming late. Addison with the outstretched arm, but that was way too late for Clint Scales as he finishes with the finger roll. Horace Wormley led the way in the first 24 minutes for the Riptide with 13. Turnover by Clint Scales. Miller off to the races, and he finishes with a two-handed flush. So the Riptide looking to get some defensive stops. The first 5 minutes very important for the Riptide in this one. Defensively, they need to try to neutralize this Hurricanes offense. Washington to Mason. He puts it up for 3. That's short. Rebound by Watson as he was able to gain the position on Morty. And that's called on Jeremiah. That's his 4th, team 2nd in the quarter. As that summons Aaron Redpath into the game for the Riptide. 10:45 remaining in the third quarter. We are early here. Hurricanes trying to extend this very large lead. Washington draws the double team, kicks it out to Mason. Back inside the Washington, trying to gain position on Addison, and that's a tough call on Addison. That's his 4th. So the Riptide continuing to get into foul difficulty. And it's been a revolving door with substitutions for head coach Nelson Taroba. Trying to find an answer here. Watson kicked out to Mason. Mason fadeaway, that's a tough shot, but he draws the foul and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Redpath's 3rd, team's 4th. So 4 quick team fouls in this third quarter called on the Riptide. As Mason, with his 3rd trip to the free throw line. And Mason's perfect on this trip. Mason now 3 for 6 from the charity stripe. He's got 11. 66-41. Hurricanes with a very comfortable lead, but no lead is comfortable in the National Basketball League of Canada. And bodies hitting the floor, and that's C.J. Washington. He hits the deck. As a pump fake there on the baseline by Brian Addison. Seeing a replay here, Addison gets Washington in the air, and Washington definitely lands awkwardly on his shoulder and backside there, and he's called for the foul. Washington second, team's first. Addison still trying to shake off that effects of that contact. It looks like he's holding his right lower body area, lower back area, excuse me. And the first one comes up short. Brian shooting 50% from the charity stripe on the season, averaging 7 points, and he knocks down the second. So Addison, who's pretty much played limited minutes and was in foul trouble early in the first 24 minutes, trying to add some scoring punch that is missing this evening from the Riptide, as their top scorers are struggling right now. Gabe Freeman only has 8. He's 3 for 8 from the field, but he needs to get going if they're going to try to get back into this. Redpath puts it up for 3. Had a good look from beyond the arc. It's no good. Rebound by Mason. So another one and done trip for St. John. Mason, he'll put it up for 3. That's a tough shot, a little bit off balance there. They didn't catch it in rhythm. Freeman to Miller, and that's the type of night it's been for the Riptide. In transition, they had numbers as Freeman tried to hit Miller. Miller stepped on the sideline there as he tried to corral that pass, and a missed opportunity to cut into the lead. The Hurricanes still can, with a very large lead, 66-42. White for 3. It's no good. Battle underneath the rim again between Washington and Addison, and that'll be Addison's 5th. And Addison is having a very frustrated night for St. John, as that summons Isom off the bench for the Riptide. And Addison will go right back to the bench, and a tough night for Bryant. 66-42, Hurricanes lead. 9:12 remaining in the third. Watson with the inbound. Mason, closely guarded by Redpath. Mason, spin move. Tough shot in tight, regathers, and Redpath's call for the reach. Parade to the free throw line continuing in this third quarter, and the fouls piling up as Marvin Binney checks into the game for the first time. As Aaron Redpath picks up his 4th. Mason knocks down the first. And he knocks down the second. So Mason, perfect in the quarter, 4 for 4 from the charity stripe. He's got 13. And head coach Nelson Taroba wants to talk things over to try to regroup and make some adjustments. But it's a tough one thus far for the Riptide, coming into this game with a very stellar road record at 6-3. But it's very much in jeopardy going to 6-4 here if things do not change in the next few minutes and beyond. So taking a quick look at the upcoming games for the Halifax Hurricanes. After tonight's game, they will go out on the road for a 4-game road trip. First, they will start on the 3rd versus the Island Storm, and then take on the St. John Riptide at Harbor Station, the first trip to Harbor Station on the season for the Canes on February 4th. Then they will cross
all the kids out there, if you're dealing with racism,
the big deep seas where they'll head over to the Rock and take on the St. John's Edge on February the 6th and the 7th before returning on Thursday, February the 15th here at Scotiabank Center versus the Moncton Magic. And plenty of tickets available for that game, fans, and a few different ways that you can get tickets simply by emailing the Hurricanes at info@halifaxhurricanes.ca or call them at 902-377-3052, or simply get their information on tickets and availability of those tickets on their many of social media handles. Their website, halifaxhurricanes.ca, their Twitter, HFX Hurricanes, and their Instagram, one of the same, at HFX Hurricanes. So the Riptide looking for some answers. As you can see in the replay there, it's been Hurricanes since they trailed 7-0 and went on that run. They've been outstanding offensively, and they've got it done with some timely stops defensively as well. Shot clock under 10. Binney's got to hurry. And we got a foul away from the ball. And that's a hold called on Billy White. Billy's first, team second, as Binney will inbound on the baseline. 14 seconds on the shot clock. 8:43 remaining in the third. Wormley puts up the three. That's short at the rim. And rebound by White. So the offensive struggles continuing for the Riptide. Backdoor lob not there, but an outstanding job of corralling it with one hand was Washington. Drew the contact, the push from behind. And that's on Binney. His first. Team 7, they are over the limit. And the Hurricanes, as you can see in the replay there, the contact, but an outstanding athletic play there by Washington. And he'll go to the line to shoot the free throws. And he makes the first. Canes will shoot the rest of the way in the penalty. 8:24 left. Lots of time for the Hurricanes. You got to think that they're going to probably attack the rim and force the issue and not settle for those shots from beyond the arc unless they are there with good ball movement, as Washington knocks down both. And Washington's got 10. Miller tries his hand from downtown. That shot's no good. And another one and done. Clinkscales swings it to White. White to Mason, inside the Watson. And that's how you do it in the half-court set. Outstanding ball movement and forces a timeout call by the Riptide. 30-point bulge for the Hurricanes. It's the largest of the evening. Riptide desperately looking for answers here, as they are on the brink of getting blown out. Pretty much is in hand right now if things do not change for them. So another opportunity to look at the out-of-town scoreboard around the National Basketball League of Canada. And the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Ambassadors. And we have a start here at the end of the first quarter. In the Central Division, the London Lightning lead the Windsor Express 30-23. And with 7:13 remaining in the third, the KW Titans are trailing the Cape Breton Highlanders 76-59. So 8:05 remaining in the third. 30-point lead for the Hurricanes. It's their largest as they continuing the hot shooting and shoot the basketball good from the field, but it's been the outstanding ball movement and the selection of shots that have put them in this position. And an offensive foul call on Isom. He's called for the moving screen, and the frustration continues. Isom second. Washington now. Swings at the clink scales. He puts it up for three. Too strong off the back of the iron. And that's the first miss from that beyond the arc for Clink. And back the other way is Isom. And Clink Scales looks like he's called for the reach. Correction is called on White. His second, team's third. As Marique Isom will go to the line to shoot two. Marique too strong on the first. Comes into the game shooting 90% from the free throw line. A 6'10" power forward from the University of Texas. Rights the ship and knocks down the second. Riptide looking for some stops defensively here. Canes looking to continue the very good basketball in their half-court sets. Washington, shot clock under 10. Clink Scales. Good look from downtown. Shot is short. Second chance opportunity there. And it looks like outstanding positioning again by C.J. Washington. Man, he is a handful tonight underneath the rim on those rebounds. As the foul's called on number 32, that's Merrick Isom. It's his third. Riptide over the limit. CJ will shoot one of two, and that's the first, and he knocks down the first. Washington has been battling all night underneath the basket, and he's been getting outstanding positioning and getting the bulk of the calls. And he hits both. So it's 31, it's the largest now. Binney hands it off to Wormley. Wormley inside the Freeman. Freeman drawing the double team. And a foul called on Antoine Mason. He's called for the push. And Mason, that's his second, team's fourth. As Binney will inbound with 14 on the shot clock. 7 minutes remaining in the third. Isom. Shot clock under 10. Binney's got to hurry inside the Freeman. Freeman, pump fake. Shot's too strong off the backboard. You could see the frustration on the face of Gabe Freeman as he tried to beat the shot clock and beat the defender as well. And that shot was too strong off the backboard, but outstanding defensive play for the Hurricanes. Continuing to get it done defensively when they need stops. Mason. And one. Mason wanted that all the way when he drew that matchup between him and Horace Wormley. And Mason, through the contact, makes it count off the backboard. Let's take a look. As you can see, going to work down the left side. He drew the contact, coming on the help line. And it looks like the foul's called on Gabe Freeman. And I'm not sure why, because it didn't look like Freeman was even involved in that play. It looked like it was Marvin Binney's foul that came late on the help line. So hopefully they'll be able to correct that foul. And according to the replay, it looked like Marvin Binney drew the foul, but they gave the personal to Gabe Freeman. And I'm not sure if they're going to correct this or not, but it looked like he was in the act of shooting, but the way they are positioning, it looks like it's a non-shooting foul. So a few things going on right now, and now it's turned into an and one. Just not sure, really don't know what the situation is. There's not a few times where I'm sitting here and not knowing what's going on, but right now I'm very confused as CJ Washington. Basket does count, and it's bonus. The foul was after the shot was made, so the continuation wasn't there for Antoine Mason. The foul was after the shot dropped by Mason, and that was away from the ball between Washington and Freeman. So now that that's all over and said and done, Washington knocks down both. Now it's 78-43. Wormley, and he draws the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot two. So the pace of this game has been slowly down to a grinding halt as multiple stoppages of play on the fouls are being called from both teams. As you can see, Wormley driving there, and Antoine with the reach, and it looked like he might have poked Wormley in the eye. But Wormley continues on here, and he'll shoot the free throws. Wormley hits the first. Mason's fourth personal, team's fifth for the Hurricanes. Wormley once again putting a very solid offensive game tonight. And he knocks down both as he's able to shake off that poke in the eye. 6 minutes remaining here in the third. 78-45, Hurricanes lead. Mason. He's got to put it up. 2 seconds. Mason forces the three. Misses the shot, but once again, CJ Washington there to clean up the boards, and he's just been an absolute beast on the offensive boards this evening. Riptide are having difficulties blocking out CJ Washington. He's just a one-man wrecking crew. So you can see the replay, getting great positioning is CJ, and he'll go back to the free throw line. And he knocks down the first. And CJ leaves the second short at the rim. Miller, right hand. Too strong, and it's picked up by Washington. So another one and done for the Riptide. White puts it up for three, and that's short, but he gets his own rebound, kicks it to Clinkscales, and the Hurricanes are in no hurry to get into their half-court set. White airmails a pass to Washington. He can't handle it. And that's a turnover. As Dondo will check in for the Riptide, along with Ramal Brown for the Hurricanes. Washington and Freeman will go to the bench respectively. 5 minutes remaining here in the third. Canes up big. Miller, the Dondo, and he makes it count with the right hand. Mason off the screen, kicks it to White. Clinkscales looking for the screen. Miller steals it from Clinkscales. Binney back the other way and rejected at the rim is White as Binney just tried to cruise in there, thought he had an easy deuce. Didn't count for the man trailing, and that was Billy White, and he throws that off the glass. So, not good court awareness. We'll take a look in the replay. Binney tried to cruise in for the easy layup, and a beautiful rejection pinned off the backboard by Billy White. Clint Scales in tight, tried to find White, turns it over though. Wormley back the other way, racing down the court. Wormley's trying to gather it and handle it. Miller open three, and he knocks down the triple. Clint Scales now swings it to White, inside to Mason, and Mason makes it count. As the Hurricanes trying to take advantage of that matchup between Mason and Wormley. Binney drive, he hits the deck as he ran into a brick wall by the name of Ramal Brown. Mency will check in for the Riptide, along with Zimmerman and Poole for the Canes, and summons for the first time is Brian Rouse for the Canes. And Clint Scales will go to the bench with 3:39 remaining in the third. Canes up 31. Binney will inbound on the baseline, and he throws that one away. So the turnovers continuing to pile up for the Riptide. Zimmerman, closely guarded by Binney, just gets it over. The Ramal Brown, back out to Zimmerman, inside up. Oh, wow. Look, that was an outstanding pass there. No hesitation by Zimmerman, hitting Billy White on the back door. And Billy again with the rejection, but he's called for the goaltend. And I want to take a look at this because it looked like the ball was continuing to go up. Billy's call for the goaltend, and he'll count it for Dondo. And that definitely looked like a rejection at the rim, according to that replay. That was in between, but definitely one that they could have let go. Poole, right hand off the glass, and he finishes. Poole putting in some very good minutes off the bench. Poole's got 11 now. And that's 5 players in double digits for the Hurricanes. Mency, nice tricky dribble crossover as he was able to leave Rouse in the dust. Picks up the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Wormley will check back as Miller will go to the bench for the Riptide. As Darren Mency will shoot 2. Mency rattles in and out the first. Mency playing in his 7th game of the season for the Riptide, shooting 50% from the free throw line. And too strong on the second. And Dondo's call for the push off of that rebound as Ramal Brown had good positioning on the blockout. That's his 3rd. Riptide has been over the penalty and over the limit, since the 8:35 mark of this quarter. And Poole continuing the hot shooting. He knocks down the jumper. Mike Poole's got it on a string now. Poole's got 13. Wormley swings at the Binney, the Mency. Darren looking for space here, draws a double team, a tough shot. Fading away from the basket. Isom though with the rebound. Right hand's that rejected by White again. Billy White with outstanding rim protection. Ramal Brown try to come up with that rebound. Wormley escapes the contact. Oh, behind the back to Isom, and a beautiful left-hand finish by Merrick. Man, Horace Wormley, outstanding in open space. He knows how to get it done, distributing the basketball. But these type of highlights have been far and few for the Riptide tonight. Mincy draws the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot two. 87-54, 1:33 left. As Billy White will go to the bench, and Ronaldo Dixon will check in. And Mincy rattles in the first. Fans trying to get on Mincy here as he rattles in the second. So Mincy rights the ship on his second trip to the free throw line. 2 for 4 now is Darren. Rouse swings it, the Poole. Poole's got to put it up, and bang, he knocks it down. Mike Poole's unconscious tonight. It's good to see Mike Poole on track offensively, and he's been playing outstanding in the last few ball games for the Hurricanes. Poole's got 15. Mincy back out to Isom for 3, and he knocks that one down. So a good look from beyond the arc for Marique, and he makes no mistake knocking that 3 ball down. Still a 30-point balls for the Hurricanes. Ronaldo in tight to Brown, pump fake. And back up for Brown, and he draws the contact, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. And Marique Isom, that's his 4th, team 7th. Excuse me, over the penalty, that is. They've been over the penalty. I mentioned it several times since the 8:35 mark. Brown off the backboard. Sometimes it's an adventure for Brown from the free throw line. He's shooting 47% on the season. Too strong on the second. Brown goes 1 for 2. Dribble handoff to Mincy. Mincy, left hand, rejected at the rim by Ronaldo. And that's part of Ronaldo's makeup right there, the outstanding rim protection. So he knocks that one off the glass, that attempt by Mincy. But it was last touch by the Hurricanes, and it will remain Riptide possession with 26.9 seconds on the game clock and a fresh shot clock at 24. And there he is again. Mike Poole with the defensive play. Knocks the ball off the leg of Marvin Binney. Binney in full disagreement, but that's been the way it's been for the Riptide. Canes trying to close out this quarter strong, just like the second. Ronaldo from 3, no good. Tapped around, picked up by Brown. 10 seconds now. Canes will hold for last shot here. Zimmerman looking for a screen. Kicks it out to Ronaldo, and that's partially blocked by Wormley, but oh, wow! Brown at the buzzer, counted off the carom. Ramel Brown. And here it is, Wormley with the partial block, and just beating the clock is Ramel Brown. That's Matt Elliott's guy. Woo! I'm going to stick one of those ones in for Ramel as he gets it down. As the Hurricanes continuing with the outstanding closing of the quarters. Struggled a little bit in the first 12 minutes when Redpath knocked down that 3 ball with 2.8, but back-to-back strong endings of quarters that put them in this lead, but it's been the defense followed up with outstanding shooting has put them in this great position to win their 13th game of the season. 92-59 after 3 quarters we have here at Scotiabank Center. Fans, if you're just joining us, the Hurricanes were down 7-0 in the first quarter, and then the Canes went on an outstanding run where they scored 17 before the Riptide could answer, and it ended up being a 20-3 run. And ever since, it's been all Hurricanes. They have had some outstanding shooting from beyond the arc and great contributions from their leaders and their second unit. So we take a quick look at the numbers here. The Hurricanes have 5 guys in double digits, with Antoine Mason leading the way with 17. Clint Scales got 16. Washington with 15. Ronaldo Dixon with 10 off the bench. And Mike Poole, who's been outstanding, with 15 off the bench. And Poole's all-around game in the limited 17 minutes has been one of the sparks that has put Halifax in this position. On the other side, for the Riptide, Horace Wormley leads the way with 14. As Joel Dondo, with 10 off the bench in 13 minutes. He's 5 for 6, a very quiet 10 points. But if you got to look at anything that's gone wrong tonight for the Riptide, it's been the foul trouble, the foul difficulty. Brian Addison, he's got 5 personals, and he's picked up 3 real fast in the first quarter. But the one number that sticks out to me that's glaring right now is the numbers of their best player. 25 minutes thus far for number 25, Gabe Freeman. He's 3 for 10 from the field, and he only has 9 points. So not the type of productivity that you can be accustomed from Gabe Freeman, who's averaging 22 points on the season. As Riptide with control of the basketball to start the fourth here. And that foul's called on Brian Rouse, his second, team's first. Morty now. Addison with the jumper, in and out. As Addison, limited minutes tonight, major foul trouble. He's 1 for 3 from the field with 3 points. Zimmerman thought about it. Back to Zimmerman for 3, in and out. He had a good look from beyond the arc, but a good closeout there with Wormley with the hand up. Wormley now, down the right side, reversal, knocked away by Zimmerman. Mincy will try his hand for 3, and he knocks it down. Mincy catching that one in rhythm. They need a lot more where that came from, but it has to start on the defensive end. And an errant pass between Poole and Dixon, and that's a turnover. And another opportunity here for the Riptide. They are trailing by 30. Largest lead this evening by the Hurricanes has been 35. Mincy, tough goal at the goal, and blown put back there by Addison. A wide open layup, and he couldn't convert. Zimmerman to Poole, draws the double team, off the glass and in. 17 from Mike Poole. He's just got it going offensively. He is locked in tonight. Wormley back the other way now. Freeman, dribble handoff. Nope, he faked it. Freeman, tough shot, fadeaway, and he drains it. And that gets Freeman to double digits with 11. But it's been a very tough shooting night. And at moments, Gabe Freeman has been very much absent from the offensive game plan for the St. John Riptide. Rouse, he'll put it up for 3. That's too strong, and it's rebound by Wormley. Wormley, the Morty, and he stepped out on the sideline there, and that's a turnover. He just couldn't keep his feet there. Lost track of where he was on the court. Hurricanes will come back the other way. Zimmerman crosses the timeline to Brown. Dribble handoff to Rouse. Zimmerman, the pool. Rouse baseline. In tight, that's a tough pass for Brown, but he picks it up. Zimmerman puts it up for three and rattles home the three. Taquan knocking down that shot from beyond the arc. And Taquan's got 6. And Zimmerman will be called for the foul. That's his 3rd, team 2nd. Wormley, pull-ups, no good. Rebound by Dixon. Poole now crosses the timeline. Back to Poole. Poole pump fake. Back out to Zimmerman. Zimmerman swings it to Rouse. Rouse has got to hurry. Shot clock is down. And they turn it over. And that's a shot clock violation and a collision at half court between Rouse and Addison. Addison's holding his face area. Let's hope he's okay. Looked like he got hit in the bridge of the nose. He's trying to gather himself as he'll exit the game. As Marique Isom will check in for the Riptide. Tied down 97-64. 8:45 remaining in the 4th. Wormley, left side, right hand's no good, knocked away. Wormley trying to track down the loose ball, and that's picked up by Ramel Brown. Zimmerman looking for a screen, doesn't use it. Behind the back pass to Dixon. Dixon with a nice pump fake and counted for Dixon. Ronaldo. Jeez, that was a slow move by Ronaldo. Slow developing play, but Ronaldo getting to the rack with his long frame. You can see in the replay there as he was able to get by Isom, beat him off the step. Isom's called for the reach, and Ronaldo finishing at the rim. And he'll give himself an opportunity to complete the three-point play, but he can't convert. Hurricanes 1 point away from the century mark. 8 minutes remaining here in the 4th. Freeman draws the foul, and that's not in the act of shooting. Freeman wanted it in the act of shooting. That's on Ramel Brown. That's his 2nd. Team's 3rd. 14 seconds on the shot clock. 8:07 left here in the 4th. Riptide trying to overcome this mountain, but it's been a tough night for them. Mincy knocks down back-to-back threes, though, on the opposite side of the floor. Mincy trying to find his stroke, playing in his 7th game for the Riptide. Started the season on the injured reserve list. He's trying to get himself into the form that we saw last season from him. Ronaldo, shots rejected. Second chance. And he's able to draw the foul on Isom. As he's called for the push in the act of shooting is Isom. And Marique is done for the evening. He picks up his 6th. As Denny McDonough will check in for the Hurricanes, along with Brian Addison and Aaron Redpath for the Riptide. 7:30 left in the 4th. Hurricanes up big. Dixon hits the first. As a lengthy conversation continuing here between the head coach Nelson Taroba and Alonzo Wright, one of 3 officials on tonight's matchup, as Ronaldo knocks down the 2nd. So Ronaldo goes perfect on that trip. As Dixon has 14 now. Freeman, partially blocked at the rim, picked up by Zimmerman. McDonald, left hand, can't finish in transition. Freeman trying to back down Rouse. Redpath can't handle the pass, and he turns it over. Dixon, the Rouse, baseline. Rouse draws the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot two. As you can see in the replay, the foul on Freeman from behind. That's his third, that's Freeman's fourth, team's third. As Brian Rouse will go to the line to shoot two. Rouse is strong on the first. Rouse enters the game shooting 57% from the three-throw line. And he knocks down the second. So Rouse goes 1 of 2 and picks up his first points of the evening though. 102-67. 6:42 remaining in the fourth. Morty off the screen. And trying to stay with them is Ronaldo, and he's called for the bump. That's Ronaldo's second, team's fourth. And Jeremiah was in the act of shooting, and he'll go to the line and shoot two. He knocks down the first. Morty, a 90% free throw shooter on the season. Riptide looking for some answers on both ends of the floor. And he knocks down both. Still a very large deficit the Riptide are in. Ronaldo can't finish at the rim. Gets the second chance opportunity and makes no mistake though. As Ronaldo has 15. Miller puts it up for three and he knocks it down. So Malcolm Miller has 10 now. And he struggled a little bit too to find his range on the evening. As Miller came into this game averaging 19 and finish and count it is Ronaldo Dixon. Ronaldo with some quality minutes off the bench for the Hurricanes. Along with Mike Poole, is just pretty much outstanding in the reserve role. Ronaldo taking advantage of those minutes. As you can see in that replay, Morty with the reach, but Ronaldo with too much strength and was able to strong arm his way and get it to go off the glass, and he'll have an opportunity to complete the three-point play. And we got a timeout on the floor as the Hurricanes pretty much have this one well in hand. So after tonight, the Hurricanes will go out onto the road where they'll go and play 4 straight on that road trip. First, they'll take on the Island Storm on the 3rd, and then on the 4th, they will go into Harbor Station for the first time this season and battle the Riptide. And then their first trip across the Gulf of St. Lawrence over to the Rock versus the St. John's Edge from the Central Division on the 6th and the 7th before returning back here to the Scotiabank Center on February the 15th, the night after the 14th, Valentine's Day, Thursday night, where the Moncton Magic will come in for a very important Atlantic Division tilt. Plenty of tickets available for that upcoming home game on the 15th. Many of ways of getting tickets simply by emailing the Hurricanes at info@halifaxhurricanes.ca or call them at 902-382-3700. 377-3052, or simply get their information on their many social media sites at halifaxhurricanes.ca. HFX Hurricanes is their Twitter and Instagram handle. And for anything National Basketball League of Canada, their website at nblcanada.ca. Their Twitter handle is NBL Canada, and their Instagram at NBL_Canada. So Dixon will try to complete the three-point play, and he does. Ronaldo with some very important minutes off the bench in this very important matchup tonight. And he did not disappoint head coach Mike Leslie. Ronaldo has been outstanding along with Mike Poole. Blocking foul called on Denny McDonald. That's Denny's second, team's fifth. Mency will inbound for the Riptide. Dondo, who has had a very quiet, productive night coming off the bench for the Riptide. He's in double digits. But they needed a whole lot more this evening in this matchup from their primetime players, and they just didn't get it. Gabe Freeman and Malcolm Miller have struggled from the field offensively. Brian Addison has pretty much been in foul trouble from the get-go. So a tie up here between these two teams, and the possession arrow will favor the Hurricanes. 10 seconds on the shot clock, 5:05 remaining in the fourth. Hurricanes lead 107-72. Rouse trying to go to work on Redpath. Rouse with a tough shot in traffic, but Denny McDonald cleans it up. Miller now. Miller down the left side, and he draws the contact on Ronaldo Dixon, and Miller will go to the line to shoot two. Ronaldo's third, team sixth. Miller hits the first. Miller 4 for 9 from the field. Looking to go 4 for 6, and he does from the free throw line, and Miller's got 12 now. 7 points below his season average at 19. Rouse inside, he turns it over. Miller back the other way to Redpath. Kicks it to the corner to Binney for three, and he knocks down the triple. So good ball movement in transition by the Riptide. Binney was able to knock down that corner three. Ronaldo, he'll try from three. That's short off the left side, and Redpath back the other way behind the back to Binney. Binney will try 2 for 2 from that distance. And that one's too strong, and rebound by Ronaldo. 3:48 remaining here in the fourth. Hurricanes still leading 109-77. Reefer. McDonald. That shot is off the side of the backboard. Mency back the other way, and he'll put it up for three. And Mency's short, and Rouse with the rebound. Rouse running in the open floor and finishes with the right hand. Very impressive end-to-end run by Brian Rouse. That's what you get from the St. Mary's University product. He could finish at the rim as he got that rebound, and he was off to the races. And he made no mistake finishing at the rim with the right hand, and that forces a timeout call on the floor by the Riptide. As you can see in the replay, splitting the defense and just beating everybody up the floor. And it looked like Miller had the angle as he beat Binney and Mency, as well as Miller at the rim. Miller did not much of an attempt defensively at the rim, didn't try to cut him off, as Rouse was able to finish. So a timeout on the floor. This one pretty much in the books here, as the Hurricanes try to win back-to-back here, as they were able to beat the Island Storm in a very close matchup at the Eastlink Center, as they took down the Storm 103-100, held on down the stretch. Ramel Brown with some key points down the stretch, 2 emphatic dunks to be exact, to give the Hurricanes the win, and then they just held on as the Island Storm had an opportunity to tie it up and force overtime, as Franklin Session was unable to knock down the 3. So 111-77 here in the fourth, as Joel Dondo having a good night offensively off the bench. If anything, this have shown head coach Nelson Taroba that Joel can be counted on in these reserve minutes, because he's been called to duty quite quickly after Brian Addison got into some foul difficulty. Joel, however, can't complete the three-point play. Zimmerman, Reefer for 3, and he knocks it down. Theon getting into the act. Hits the shot from beyond the arc, had a good look, and he was able to knock it down from the corner. His first points of the evening for Theon. Redpath, he drives to the rim, and he draws the foul and finishes, and he'll go to the line to complete the three-point play. He's able to get by Rouse, and Rouse with the bump. Redpath was able to complete the three-point play. McMaster University product, Aaron Redpath. Zimmerman kicks it out to Ronaldo. Canes in no hurry in their half-court set, but Rouse was able to split the defense and draw the foul on Redpath, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. That's Dondo's 4th, as you can see in the replay here. Rouse with the quick move, definitely caught him off the left arm there, as Rouse rattles home the first. And Rouse goes perfect with the second. 115-83. It's been all Hurricanes since pretty much the 9:02 mark of the first quarter, when they went on that run. It was a 20-3 run before the Riptide could answer. And Mency's called for the foul in transition. Unselfish basketball between the two Huskies, as Reefer was able to find Rouse cutting towards the rim in transition on that 2-on-1. And Reefer rattles in and out the first. Reefer's first visit to the free throw line tonight. And he makes 1 of 2 as Theon. Theon's got 4. And a last touch by Joel. And it will be Hurricane ball. 2:03 remaining in the fourth. Hurricanes with a very large lead. The largest of the evening was 35. 117-82. After a very slow start, they had the answer and they found it on the defensive end, but they shot the lights out from beyond the arc, and that was the difference tonight. Some timely shooting from downtown and some defensive stops as well. Redpath kicks it out to Miller. Miller down the lane, and he finishes with the right hand. But it definitely not the night Miller envisioned coming into this one, as he was off to a very slow start. Has come on as of late, but pretty much too late. Ronaldo's shot is blocked partially. Picked up by Binney, he hands it off to Redpath. Redpath turns it over, and that's pretty much how it's been going. Alley-oop to McDonald by Reefer. Explanation point right there. But it's been pretty much that way for the Hurricanes. Two-handed flush with authority in transition by McDonald. Reefer for three, and that's short. Rebound by Binney. Miller, pull up. That's a tough shot by Miller, but he needed to be good like that. Just didn't have that type of shooting all night long, as he struggled to find the range. A little bit too late here. Hurricanes will hold this one out, and they will run their record to 13-8 as Zimmerman will hold it out here. And that'll do it. The final, 119-86. The Hurricanes tie the season series at one game apiece as they take down the St. John Riptide. So that'll do it here, folks, at Scotiabank Center. For the Silver Vision crew, I'm Vince Williams saying thank you, and make sure you join us here when the Hurricanes return back home on February the 15th to take on the Moncton Magic. So long from Scotiabank Center, and good evening.